Everyone thinks this is the ultimate feel-good summer anthem, but the man who wrote it reportedly considers it one of the most bitter deals of his career. In the next few minutes, you'll discover the predatory contract with rumored underworld associations that captured this masterpiece, the controversial original title the record label desperately tried to bury, and the devastating irony of a multi-million-dollar radio hit that left its creator fighting for his fair share. Have you ever noticed the deep, bitter resentment hiding right underneath those cheerful acoustic guitars? Think again about the innocent nostalgia you are blindly swaying along to. Stick around, because in this deep dive, we explore the toxic pressure cooking behind closed doors, the blatant censorship of a poetic memory, and how the music industry successfully hijacked a man's legacy. How does a brilliant, deeply soulful Irish poet end up signing away the rights to his own future? It starts with a desperate flight to New York and a notoriously dangerous record executive. To understand the crushing historical weight surrounding Brown-Eyed Girl, you have to completely erase the image of the wealthy, globally respected musical icon Van Morrison is today. In early 1967, Morrison was in a suffocating career crisis. He had recently left his gritty garage rock band, Them, and retreated back to Belfast, Northern Ireland. He was reportedly flat broke, deeply depressed, and completely disillusioned with the music industry. He was feeling trapped in a cage of his own failing career. He was looking for a miracle, and it arrived in the form of a phone call from a powerful American record producer named Burt Burns. Burns ran a label called Bang Records in New York City. He offered to fly Morrison across the Atlantic and fund a solo recording session. To a starving artist, it sounded like the ultimate lifeline. But there was a massive, highly calculated catch. Burt Burns was a ruthless operator in the 1960s music business, a man who some historians suggest had rumored underworld associations. When Morrison arrived, he was reportedly handed a suffocating, incredibly predatory contract. Desperate to get into the studio, and completely unaware of the legal trap he was stepping into, Morrison signed the paperwork. He didn't just sign a record deal. Some accounts suggest he essentially signed away the entire publishing and songwriting rights to the music he was about to create. He handed over the keys to his own creative kingdom before he even picked up a guitar. He had accidentally walked into a gilded cage, and the song he was about to record would become the very padlock that kept him trapped. You might think this track was written as a universal, relatable pop anthem. In reality, the original version contained a deeply personal, controversial title that the 1960s music industry actively tried to erase. When Morrison stepped into A&R Studios, he brought a nostalgic, wistful song about youthful rebellion and innocent love. But the song he introduced to the session musicians was not called Brown-Eyed Girl. According to multiple historical accounts and Morrison himself, the track was originally titled Brown-Skinned Girl. That title has sparked decades of intense debate. Some historians believe the song was explicitly about an interracial relationship, while Morrison later gave conflicting explanations, sometimes citing a deeply personal memory of a Caribbean girl he had known. In the racially charged climate of 1967 America, a mainstream pop song openly celebrating an interracial romance was considered a dangerous political risk by record label executives. What happened next remains a point of heavy debate. Morrison later claimed the title Change was simply a slip of the mind, a studio mistake that accidentally stuck. But many music historians strongly argue that Bang Records heavily pressured him to change the lyrics to Brown-Eyed Girl to make the track universally marketable and safe for white middle-class radio stations. Whether a genuine accident or a forced corporate mandate, the authentic soul of the song was sanitized. The deeply personal identity of the girl was erased, repackaged by a corporate entity, and sold to the masses under a safer face. But the label's desperate attempt to clean up the song didn't stop at the title. Masking the true gritty nature of this song required more than just a title change. It required taking a physical razor blade to the master tape to appease terrified radio executives. In 1967, The rules of commercial AM radio were strictly enforced. Radio singles had to be devoid of anything remotely scandalous. When Bang Records executives listened to the final mix of Brown Eyed Girl, they panicked. They hit a massive, politically sensitive roadblock in the third verse. Morrison, singing from a place of pure, unfiltered memory, delivered the line, "Making love in the green grass behind the stadium with you." To a modern listener, that line is beautiful and poetic. But to a conservative 1960s radio programmer, it was considered far too sexually explicit for daytime airplay. The executives deemed it commercial suicide, knowing that if they sent that version out, the song would be immediately blacklisted. So, they made a ruthless, calculated business decision. In a move that sparked decades of industry lore, label engineers took a physical razor blade to the magnetic master tape. They literally chopped out the offending lyric. To fill the gap, they spliced in a vocal take from an earlier verse, replacing the line with the entirely meaningless, sanitized phrase, "Laughin' and a runnin', hey, hey." Imagine hearing a massive hit song you wrote, only to realize your own record label censored your memory. The poetic, nostalgic core of the track had been successfully hijacked and replaced with a shiny corporate edit, engineered specifically to bypass the conservative prejudices of the era. The vocal performance sounds like classic, confident storytelling, but the arrangement was actually a chaotic studio accident patched together with placeholder nonsense. Analyzing the mechanical structure of Brown Eyed Girl, the sheer brilliance reveals itself in how improvised it actually was. The track sounds like a meticulously crafted masterpiece, but the studio reality was a frantic, rushed jam session. Morrison only had a few days to record, and the backing musicians were hired session players who had never played the song. The most recognizable part of the entire track, the bouncy acoustic guitar riff opening the song, wasn't written by Van Morrison. It was improvised on the spot by session guitarist Al Gorgoni. He was just trying to find a catchy lead-in for the vocal melody, unaware he was inventing one of the most famous guitar hooks in history. But the real magic and ultimate irony lies in the legendary chorus. The soaring sha-la-la-la-la-la-la refrain that stadiums sing along to today was never meant to be permanent. In songwriting, sha-la-la is a classic placeholder mumbled when words aren't figured out yet. Morrison intended to go back and write a proper, poetic chorus later, but the session moved so fast and the backing singers sounded so wildly joyous, singing those nonsense syllables, that they left it in. The song was sturdy enough to survive a stolen title, a censored lyric, and a rushed schedule. It proved that sometimes an improvised guitar lick and a chorus of nonsense can accidentally capture the exact sound of a generation. The song conquered the globe, but its blinding success ultimately became the biggest financial robbery in rock history. When Bang Records released Brown Eyed Girl in the summer of 1967, the reaction was explosive. It skyrocketed up the Billboard charts, transforming Van Morrison from a struggling artist into a globally recognized superstar. The track became a permanent radio staple, going on to become one of the most played songs on classic rock radio. But time has revealed a deeply tragic irony woven into this massive success. Because of that predatory contract, Van Morrison reportedly received far less than he wanted and faced serious contractual problems over Brown Eyed Girl. While record executives and publishers made millions off the constant radio play and massive cultural footprint, the man who actually wrote it was locked in a bitter dispute. He had accidentally activated a billion-dollar machine that swallowed his masterpiece whole. The unprecedented commercial success didn't give him financial freedom. It permanently locked him in a bitter legal nightmare. The story takes a darker turn. When Burt Burns suddenly passed away later that year, Morrison was still legally bound to the label. To break free, he was obligated to deliver over 30 original songs to the publisher. In a legendary act of pure spite, Morrison went into the studio and recorded 31 completely unlistenable, out-of-tune tracks of absolute nonsense, just to fulfill the legal quota and escape forever. Today, Van Morrison reportedly refuses to play Brown-Eyed Girl at many of his concerts. To the world, it stands as a timeless, historical monument to summer nostalgia. But to him, it is a glowing, radioactive symbol of pure, cynical industry manipulation. It proves that sometimes the music industry doesn't just want your voice, they want your soul, your memories, and every single penny those memories can generate. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think Brown-Eyed Girl is Van Morrison's greatest vocal performance? Or does the complex spiritual depth of Into the Mystic hold that title for you? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. We read every single one. And if you want to uncover more dark secrets, backstage feuds, and the unfiltered truth behind the biggest legends in music history, hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and join us for the next deep dive. Thanks for watching.